Oh, Streamer got some new music there. That was nice. Welcome to Pie Guys Pick'em. This is the Super Bowl season recap episode. Usually, we do this the week after, but of course, last Friday was Valentine's Day, and the woman takes priority. My significant other takes priority on Valentine's Day, so. I thought I'd just stick it to Friday. There's no rush to do the show because we're going to have a full season, basically. A full off season to discuss what happened this past season, what happened in the Super Bowl, and sort of look at the odds that are already up for next season for NFL. We'll take some early looks. Don't play. Okay. We'll talk about futures. I wouldn't recommend probably playing anything right now because it's still a free agency, we still have the draft. So those are going to be big key determining factors in football teams. But there might be certain numbers like, for example, when the the Bucs signed Tom Brady. When you hear a rumor like that, the number is going to shrink. But other than that, I would wait for free agency, the draft, and then to see what's up with the future markets and when they develop more. But just to recap quickly on the Super Bowl. Cowboy Keith will be joining us. But before I recap the Super Bowl, just want to shout out to Team Canada. Of course, the hockey game last night in the Four Nations face-off. I got a nice Canadian steam whistle here. Connor McDavid with the game winner last night, defeating the United States, Austin Matthews and the Tkachuk brothers, Connor Hellebuyck in net for the Team USA. But Marner to McDavid, Jordan Binnington was fantastic, and I'm going to cheers to Team Canada here. Obviously, I am in Canada, hence the CFL hat and though you should watch the CFL regardless. We'll talk a little bit about the CFL too when we get to the later stages of the show. But what a great hockey game that was last night, and what a great tournament it was overall. Gary Bettman finally getting his head out of his ass, and what a you want to talk about like a mismatch. The NBA, or the load management league, as I like to call it. Awful all-star festivities compared to the Four Nations face-off. What a joke that was. Especially in a week where there wasn't much sports this week. Outside of women's hockey and the all-star festivities, Four Nations face-off, was the spotlight. And it was a great success. I saw, Donald Trump was there trying to get his team going. That didn't work. You saw all over Twitter, both Canadians and Americans getting into the hockey rivalry, and that's great to see. Obviously, the political components that are happening with Canada and the U.S. right now regarding tariffs and Donald Trump's attempted annexation. So I don't get too much into that. Let's get into the Super Bowl here. I have most of my drink poured. It was a blowout, basically. The Eagles' first half was the best bet 2 weeks, or was it 4 weeks ago now? 3 weeks ago. And the first Super Bowl preview show that cashed easily. Probably, it was the Chiefs kept it in it, or were in it for a bit there. But in general, it was mostly. Sorry, just turn off some notifications there. It was dominant Eagles. They dominated both lines of scrimmage. I had a feeling that if it was going to go haywire, it was going to be Philadelphia. And I had a feeling that Philly's offense wasn't going to be able to, the Chiefs weren't able to stop, because they did stop Barkley. But I said, okay, even if they stack the box, they stop Barkley, they're not completely relative to what Barkley does against an average team. They did stop him, but I thought that even if they did that, their corners aren't very good. You're going to leave them on an island. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Jonna Dotson, or was it Jahan Dotson? I believe he had the first touchdown. I wonder what that was paying. Or was it Hurts? I can't remember. It's been a couple of weeks. Should get the game up there. But Jahan Dotson had a good showing in the game. Let's see scoring. So, Jalen Hurts 1 yard. Yeah, okay. It was, I believe it was. And of course the pick six, Cooper DeJean, the probably the best play of the Super Bowl. It was basically a ball game after that. I mean, Mahomes, the offensive line for the Chiefs couldn't block, and it wasn't their tackle. I was watching. I can't think of his name right now. The Chiefs tackle. And he was blocking. He was blocking good. It was the stronger parts of their offensive line, the interior, that weren't really any good, I thought, in that game. So a little bit of, you thought the Chiefs' interior offensive line would be able to hold up, and you were worried about the tackles, number 74 in particular. But he was very good, I thought, for the Chiefs. It wasn't the pressure from the edge. It was pressure up the middle. It was Jalen Carter. It was Brandon Graham wreaking havoc on Patrick Mahomes. And, he was sacked. He threw picks. And the defense just couldn't stop the Eagles' offense. The Eagles' offense, fully healthy, is, maybe the best offense in the league when you have the balanced attack of Saquon Barkley behind that, sturdy offensive line, Mailata, Lane Johnson, Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, and I can't recall the other lineman's name, but it's a top three offensive line. Them, the Lions, and who's the other one? I think Baltimore. Maybe it's not Baltimore. Anyways, them and the Lions. Oh, and the Packers have a pretty good offensive line too. But they're up there anyways for top offensive line. I mean, and when when the Spagnuolo did what he could, but you got to score. And I know 40-22 final score goes over the total. So the public cashed the over, the Sharps cashed the Eagles. The props weren't too great for me. The Gainwell yards cash of that last carry, I was jumping up and down and inebriated when Gainwell got a late carry there to go over the 9.5. I wasn't. We got a cheap number because of the potential injury, but it's the Super Bowl. You got it out, especially when you have to play. 10, 15 snaps a game with Barkley back there. The game was good. It was. The Eagles were the best team. It looked like in that game. They beat Baltimore. They beat Kansas City. The only team that didn't beat was Buffalo. When the Lions, they ever played the Lions because Washington, of course, upset them. But they beat the Packers, they beat the Rams. It wasn't an easy road for them. And you could argue that Lions going to Detroit, it would have been a problem as opposed to hosting the Washington Commanders. But it's a divisional foe who had beat them already. So I don't think that game was any easier than it had to be. I think the right team won the Super Bowl. I don't think the right team was in it for the AFC. I thought like Houston arguably could have been in the Super Bowl. When you think about what happened there against the Chiefs. Buffalo, again, there was some referee shenanigans in that game. So, when you have these referee shenanigans, you have one team who's super, super strong at the line of scrimmage. And they tried it again. I mean, that first was the first series, the fourth down throw to A.J. Brown. They called that hogwash pass interference, and they were pretty good from there. There was a little bit of a makeup call later, I thought, for Philly. So they took it away, but that was a really bad look. When you go 3 plays in and there's an awful phantom offensive pass interference call. And speaking of phantom, Kowboy Keith is here to join the show. Kowboy Keith, how are you? Oh, sorry, Canadian Kowboy Keith today.
Yay. Go Canada.
Yes. I already spoke about the win last night. Jordan Binnington, Connor McDavid, Mitch Marner, Sam Bennett. Thomas Harley, man. Both games against the U.S., he was great in both of them. I know people blame for the line change of the first game, but I thought that was a little bit unfair. There was somebody who could have got. I think it was Crosby could have got back. But anyways, Keith, your thoughts on the Super Bowl? I know it was a couple weeks ago, but
I barely remember it.
well, I was just talking about the opening pass interference phantom call, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
In the end, the Eagles were just so much better. Do you think
they were?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they really were that much better.
Yeah, I think so. The line of scrimmage dominance. I said the advantage Kansas City had going in was coaching, quarterback, and kicker. But if the game's not close, those don't come into play. I mean, the quarterback does, but I mean, the kicker didn't matter basically because it was a blowout. And the coaching, I mean, the defensive coaching tried, but you can't block anybody on offense. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was up and down game gambling wise. Obviously, the first best bet hit, Gainwell hit, but other than that, wasn't a very good night for me. But that first one covered a lot of the smaller action. The Eagles' first half.
My Elliott prop hit.
Oh yes, Jake Elliott, you're a good call, Keith. Johnny's under, Saquon hit. There was a couple. All the worthy props hit. We had worthy props. But yeah, I don't know if the Kelsey. I think the Kelsey yards got there. Did he get to 60? I didn't bet.
Well, I think he ended 49, 50-ish.
Let me see here. I have the game up on my team player stats. Oh, he had 39. Oh, he didn't get there. It was just worthy. It was the worthy show on the Chiefs. Gray had one catch for 2 yards. I was surprised they didn't get him more involved, especially when you're getting killed on the pass rush. Yeah, everybody on like DeHaan Dotson had 42 receiving yards. Like that's not good. If you're facing the Eagles, you don't want that. All right, well. We'll talk about some of the other teams now, the season recap. Overall, I thought the season was pretty shit in terms of the quality outside of Washington games. I mean, like, and in the North, both the NFC and the AFC North had some good divisional games. But outside of those games, I mean, it was a lot of snooze fest, a lot of blowouts, a lot of bad quarterback play. The Bengals, again, AFC North, right? Like, I mean, they pick and choose. But, I mean, even looking at next year's Super Bowl odds, it feels like there's like 5-6 teams that are way ahead of everybody else in the league. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Ravens, the Bills, and I forget those 5. And then you can throw in your favorite team after that. But
maybe the Bengals.
Yeah, they don't have a defense, and they're franchise tagging T. Higgins, which is awful for the league, in my opinion, because if T. Higgins gets signed by the Patriots or a team that has a fun quarter, or the Panthers, a team with like a decent quarterback, but they need weapons. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna leave him on Cincinnati. And then have no I mean, I guess it's good for the Cincinnati games, but I'd like to see T. Higgins somewhere else.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Bengals were probably the biggest disappointment. Oh, I guess San Francisco got injured. I don't think that surprised anybody in the league, the media. The injury kings.
I thought San Fran was actually going to win their division.
Yeah, they didn't even do that. What was your biggest disappointment? I'm going to say the Bengals for me, just because, I mean, how is the defense that bad? I mean, come on.
Well, with the Bengals, they kind of screwed themselves week 1. Just imagine if the Patriots lose that game, the Bengals are in the playoffs. Patriots have the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and that's what, like the 3 or 4 that the biggest favorite on the board has lost out right now, week 1. I'm just gonna bet it. I looked at that one. I really, really thought like that looked like trouble for Cincinnati. Well, because the Patriots, remember, they were fully healthy in that game. They had their defense, whereas they lost it, like week 3. Like half their defense was out.
Also, historically, Cincinnati seems to start slow.
Yeah.
They usually have those 0-2, 0-3 starts.
Yeah. But whoever's the biggest underdog week 1, I might just bet them on the money line. Small, but I mean, we've seen it now a couple years in a row. I kind of think that's something to take away. Just start doing it. I think I can't remember. I think I took a little bit of New England plus 10, but just a bit in that game, and that was the easiest bet of the weekend. Oh no, I bet the under. It was another easy one.
I mean, I don't know how you remember back in September, but.
Well, the week 1 games I handicap for 3 weeks, right? You have more time.
I mean, I did go to England 2 days later, so.
Yeah. So the Bengals, I think Keith's in agreement. They're the biggest disappointment. The biggest clowns of the season were all shockingly the Cleveland Browns. What a joke of a team. The Myles Garrett now wants to be traded. And he deserves it because, I mean, they played hard every game. Didn't matter what their record was. The defense showed up almost every week. They played a good offense. Sometimes they got torched, but I mean, they were there. The effort was there, and the offense is a joke because you signed a sex pest who hadn't played in a year and a half. You gave him all this money. You refused to put Jameis in, even though clearly, I mean, he was going to throw interceptions, but I mean, he still gave you the best chance to win. And DTR is a joke.
And Winston's more exciting to watch anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Give the fans something to cheer about. DTR, I mean, come on. I mean, I hope we never see him in a football field. Who are your clowns, Keith?
No, it might be. No, the Saints might be out there.
Oh yeah. Remember everyone thought the Saints? Fuck, I bet the Saints. I think week 3 against Philly. Oh. Did they cut? No, I bet the over. It was 15-12. So Philly's good. Philly's gonna score, but nobody scored. It was a weird. The Saints. Ugh. I mean, remember the 2 weeks in, everyone thought they were juggernauts, and then they were jokes.
That's what happened when you have Derek Carr, right?
Oh, and Dennis Allen. I mean, why? And they didn't even get a coach till a couple weeks. Did they sign Kellen Moore?
What, 4 days ago?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's nobody wants to go there. They're in cap hell because they kept kicking the can down the road. Now they got to deal with it. But I mean, there's no expectations. You're in a bad division. No expectations. You could win 9 games to win the division. Something stupid like that. I don't know. I kind of think that they'll probably. I might bet them to finish last, depending on what the number is. I mean, I think the Panthers might. If it wasn't for that dumbass owner, I think they could figure something out next season because their guard, their offensive line, and Bryce Young played better as the season went along. I thought. But the defense was. Well, I mean, they lost the 2 best defenders, week 3 or 4, and that was the end of their season. But the Saints looks bleak in the Big Easy.
I'm just I'll try to avoid mentioning the Raiders because historically they are on this list.
Yeah, but with the Raiders, I mean, they didn't have a quarterback, so there's no expectation, 0. You know what I mean? The Saints were expected to win, 8 games or something. The Raiders are expected to win 6, and I think they beat the Ravens. So, of course, the Ravens ended up doing their usual playoff choke. The biggest choke artists of the season. I mean, it has to be Buffalo, right?
I think the Lions.
Yeah, I would argue that if the Lions had their full team, they would have probably won that game. But they were 10-point favorites. You turned the ball over 5 times. right? I mean, I know they won a game, or it was 4 or 5. I know they won a game during the season where they turned the ball over 5 times, but it's and they had no defense after like a week. It was like half a defense by the time the playoffs were around. But like, how many defensive players went on? Like, if Hutchinson doesn't break his leg, they probably win that game, even with the turnovers. It's just when you can't trust your defense and you're getting, and you're getting some turnovers, it's a problem. But yeah, maybe I could see losing as straight up as 10-point chalk in the playoffs at home is bad. Um, but I just say, come on, Buffalo. I mean, you had a lead going into in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs, who we saw in the Super Bowl weren't that good. I mean, like at least Washington, that they. I mean, I know that the Philly kind of buried them a little bit too, but that game was close until like Philly kind of ran away with it late. Like Washington kept hanging around. The Chiefs were done in like the first half. They were done. The game was over. It was like 27-0 or something. Yeah. So I mean, like at least Washington, like they were within 10, late in the game, and then Philly took over. So like, I just come on. I mean, you can't get a yard on fourth down. You got to get to replay. It kind of feels like the Bills choked it away again. But yeah, I could see the Lions too. The Steelers remain in mediocrity. Shocking. Tomlin's streak continues. There's rumors he might be fired. Do you think that's hogwash?
I haven't heard those.
Oh, I heard a rumor that Tomlin, not that he might be fired, but that they might part ways.
Yeah, you can't really have him leave now, though, can you?
No, I guess not. I mean, it's kind of looking ahead a little bit, but I mean, are they going to win 9 games, or was it? He needs to win 9, right? Are they going to win 9 games again next year, or 8.5, 8 in a tie?
I mean, don't they play the Browns twice?
Yeah, the Browns are going to draft a quarterback, though. Probably, aren't they the second pick
again?
Why wouldn't they?
No, they're going to draft another quarterback.
Yeah, but in the first round. I mean, the last one they drafted was a Baker.
Yeah, and who did they draft before that? Mandel, was it?
Yeah, Deshaun Kite. No, Deshaun Kite. He was awful. Yeah, he was the 0-16 season, I think. The Cleveland 0-16 season. Oh, the factory of sadness, man. Those poor fans. Awful. All right. And who was obviously the surprise? Washington. I don't remember. They were 4.5 win total. They won 12 games. They went to the NFC Championship game. We'll move on. You're looking ahead. We'll take a look at the odds in a minute, but just some thoughts. The Commanders. Do you think they're going to be a flash in the pan, or is this for real?
They might regress.
You think they're going to regress? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Every time, obviously they fix the offensive line, so I feel like whoever's in charge is a smart coach. They know you need an offensive line. Their quarterback, man, he just looks so calm on the sidelines. Dan Daniels, Zanga. They have 2 kickers basically, so they can pick whichever one they want, Siebert or Gonzalez. They both look fine to me. Dan Quinn, we know he can win. I mean, he can't win. He hasn't won the big one, but we know he's a good coach, and they need help on the defensive side of the ball. So I feel like that's a great coach for them. I kind of think I'm kind of leaning when the odds come out. I'm probably going to bet Washington to win the division. I mean, the Giants are straight up might as well not even play their games. They're eliminated already essentially. Unless they sign 5 offensive linemen. They don't have a quarterback either. So I mean that's a joke. Dallas right now. Dallas is 60-1, I think, to win the Super Bowl. I thought that was kind of high. I was looking at it. Football. But yeah, he was like 60-1. Let me see, to win outright. Dallas. Yeah, 60-1, which is high for the Cowboys. They usually take a Cowboy tax. So then you have the Eagles, who are good, but sorry, what would you say, Keith?
Dallas does have a new coach, so.
Oh, I mean, he's from what I've heard. I don't know the guy. I'm not familiar with the career of Brian Schottenheimer, but everything I've heard is he's not very good. So I think those two teams might be a write-off. I think Cowboys maybe could be interesting, but and then so it's a 2-horse race, I think, in that division, and the Eagles. What do we say? No one's won the NFC's 2 years in a row and forever. Like the Cowboys won it last year.
It's been what, 23, 24 years?
Something like that. So, based on that logic, I mean, I think Washington would be the bet. But I'm going to wait. We'll see what the free agency market does. They need a defense. And also, there's the fact that, the Eagles were basically healthy for most of the season. They have really, really good ones. Like probably, best on best. I think they're the best team right now. They just won the Super Bowl, but also they have 2 high-end receivers. They have a top offensive line. They have a quarterback who's a dual threat. They have a great defensive line, a bunch of rookies. Now they're going to lose Zach Bond. I was talking to our Eagles friend. You know who that is. And they're probably going to lose Zach Bond. I kind of feel like he's going to be a Patriot. He seems like a Patriot. What do you think?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe a Bengal. But yeah, so I kind of feel the division's there for Washington. Any team you're looking at that could make a step forward. I know it's early, but we're doing this now.
I think the Packers will win the North next year.
The Packers?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
The Vikings are a flash of a pan team this year. They're just sticking around with Darnold.
Yeah, but they're going to get their real quarterback back.
Yeah, but still.
He looked really good, Keith, in preseason. I know it's preseason, but I mean, they're going to get Christian Darrisaw back, the left tackle, right? They still have, they still have the 2 wide receiver duo, Addison and Jefferson, top 5 tight end, and Hawkinson. I think the Vikings could be pretty good. They still have Flores as the DC. Van Ginkel's there. I love Van Ginkel. You know me, I love some AVG, former Miami Dolphin, one of my favorite players.
And the Lions are definitely going to regress.
Yeah, losing both coordinators.
And remember, the Lions were Matt Eberflus timeout away from finishing 5th.
Yes, they were. No, they still would have finished because they beat the Vikings. They would have had the tiebreaker. Remember, they finished a game ahead.
Oh God, they did.
Yeah, they would have had. Well, losing to the Bears, no, it didn't. It wouldn't have mattered because they would have beat Minnesota twice, right? Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered because they swept the Vikings. But yeah, I mean, they were close. So that's a team I want to talk about. 45-1 is the number right now on the Chicago Bears to win the Super Bowl. I'm not going to bet it right now.
Are they higher than the Cowboys?
Because they have Ben Johnson. I mean, if you look at this team, I mean, how many times you just mentioned the Matt Eberflus and nonsense. Jason says the Bears aren't winning. Nonsense. But Caleb Williams having no protection. I mean, come on. Keenan Allen was out for half the season. He comes back. He's a monster.
I
They
forgot
have
he was on the
they
Bears.
have they have a top they have a top 5 cornerback in the league in Jalen Johnson. They have Montez Sweat. They need a better pass rush. But I mean, how many times did the Bears like shoot themselves in the foot? Like 5. They could have had like 5 more wins. And it was against good like division teams. They gave almost every divisional game was like close. I know they beat the Packers week 17 or 18. And arguably that game didn't matter. Now there was that 6-3 Seattle debacle, but I mean, it was a Thursday night game way, way, way late in the season.
Thursday night games are your favorite, by the way.
Oh, I barely watched them. Well, I mean, to full discretion, I had something on Thursday nights on the other side of Toronto, and for me to drive home at 5:00 is might as well leave at 7 or 8. It's much faster for anyone who knows Toronto traffic. So yeah, I think if I can get 2 or 3 offensive linemen on this Bears team. All right, I want to see free agency, but they're a team that I'm looking at. They have a new head coach. We know he's not a bum. We know Ben Johnson's a good coordinator, right? They have good players. We know. I think Caleb is fine. I think this will be his second year. We know the progress that quarterbacks make their second year. It'll be his second year, right? He was a rookie. Yeah, because he was the favorite. Yeah, okay. So second year for Williams. They have wide receivers. We know that. They have so many wide receivers. They're running backs I don't like, but we know what I say about running backs in the NFL.
They don't matter.
Exactly. I like their kicker. Their defense could be better, but it's good enough, especially in that division. Like nobody really has defense. I think the Bears are a team I'm looking at. I know everyone was on them last year. You see Jason Giants at top betting garbage. The Bears aren't going to do anything. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear people low on the Bears because they were super high on them last year. And what did they do? I think they were early. I think next season might be the Bears' year, and they're in a tough division. I know that, but they were my best bet week 6 as 4-point chalk, and they murdered the Panthers. We've seen this team. This team is not, it's not a bum show. You need a competent coach and you need a competent offensive line. Now they might bear, like Johnny's saying in the chat, but I want a good number. I might bet them to win the North. Because look what the Vikings did this year. I mean, they were, people were telling me week 1, you can't bet on Sam Darnold as a favorite on the road. And then what happened? They killed the Giants. I know the Giants stunk, but I mean, then they went on to win 14 games.
I think me, and like 10 other kids could probably beat the Giants.
I know. And people were still telling. I mean, that was the worst line of the year. Maybe I don't bet Bears. Maybe I just bet them week 1. I mean, I bet against them week 1 because I thought the hype was too much. But I'm thinking they might be this, and then they covered because the Titans are fucking really. That's a team I don't want anything to do with. I don't think I'm going to bet the Titans once next season. You do like 3. How do you go 3-14 against the spread? Like I don't understand. Like how are you that bad?
Tennessee.
Yeah. But anyways, so you what are you? Are you on? What do you think about the Bears? So you think there's potential there, or are they going to find ways to lose?
It's the Bears. They're going to find ways to lose.
Okay, I'll be on the island. I was talking earlier at the beginning of the show. Mayo man, Johnny's right. Will Levis, sayonara. You can go be a yeah. Actually, he's not even backup material in the CFL. I don't want him anywhere near a football. He can go play in the UFL. Maybe I don't watch that. I don't want to watch that man ever again.
Here's your reminder that the UFL starts on March 28th.
Yes, UFL action on March 28th. If you're jonesing for football, though what does the CFL start? June. What is CFL opening day? That's real football. I believe it's Ottawa, Saskatchewan. Preseason May 19th, week 1, June 5th at Mosaic in Saskatchewan. Of course, Rants, Rum, and Rouges will be back on Wednesdays with myself and Jason, CFL Stats Geek. I got to get the plug in. Maybe some Cowboy Keith. We'll talk about that.
I will not be doing a UFL podcast, by the way.
No, definitely not. Nobody's going to watch that. Okay. So looking at these odds, is anyone outside? So the top 5 I mentioned earlier, and then San Francisco's there kind of in the middle. And then it's basically everybody else. Cincy, Packers, Washington. Anyone after Cincinnati? You like the Packers? I guess 20 to would you consider 20 to 1 on Green Bay to win the Super Bowl?
No,
too short. Okay, I'm gonna run some teams by you. Let's see if you like any of these. So Eagles are the favorite. We know that. We'll skip the Big 5 in San Francisco. Because right now, like I said, you don't want to be taking anybody who's like 10 to 1, 20, like less than 20 to 1. You lock up your money for a full year. It doesn't make any sense. But if there's a team with potential, like the Bears, like Tampa Bay, I mentioned back when Brady signed there, that their number could be cut in half with a good free agency or a good draft, like a lower team, then that might be my consideration. I'm still not going to do it, but that I could see the logic behind that. So
I'm more surprised people think San Francisco's going to have a comeback here.
Well, they're 14 to 1. So the Bengals 20 to 1. Were you any interest in that?
No.
Washington 22 to 1. You already said they think they're flash in the pan. Chargers 28 to 1.
No.
Rams 28 to 1 as well.
It would depend if Stafford comes back.
Yeah, I could see. They're in a tough division. Houston 30 to 1. I don't mind that. That's one I could see myself getting behind. They're in a bad division.
Well, you can guarantee they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Jacksonville is. Let's talk about the AFC South for a minute. So Tennessee. By the way, if anybody wants to bet, Vegas at 125 to 1, the Saints at 150 to 1, the Titans at 200 to 1, or the Giants at 200 to 1. I'll give you those odds. I'll give you better odds because they're not winning the Super Bowl. The Browns maybe. The Browns are like 150 to 1 too. I could see some because like they have a core, but those other teams have nobody.
What are the Jets at? Did you run them down or
125 to 1?
Well,
yeah, you want that number?
I was just wondering.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind betting the no. Maybe I'll lay 1,000 to win $1 on the Jets not to win the Super Bowl. Watch now they're gonna win. The Patriots are 100 to 1. The Colts are 100. The Colts at 100 to 1. I mean, it's not. I could see it.
They have a nice stadium.
Yeah. But like the thing is, like I was looking here, they have also like the divisions. The AFC South is 17 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. And in my head, I'm just like, just bet the Texans at 30 to 1 because the Colts aren't beating anybody in the playoffs. Barring injuries. But yeah, the one that stood out to me when I looked at the odds, the big one that stood out was Chicago at 45 to 1. I thought that was a good price. I could see because if the Bears sign like 3 linemen, or maybe they draft 2 and sign 2, or if they can get some offense, some protection, I think that's the key. And I could see the Bears doing well. But yeah, Miami 55 to 1. I don't like where we are at. I mean, the Vikings at 40 to 1. Like I said, team won 14 games. You think they're flash in the pan? It's going to be.
Yeah.
But again, they have a second place schedule, just like Washington, which is another reason why I like Washington. They don't have to play a first place schedule despite being in the NFC Championship game because they didn't win the division. So they're going to play. They're not going to play in their crossover games. They're not going to play the Chiefs, the Buffaloes, the Baltimores. They're going to play the Steelers, the Dolphins. The second tier teams. That can mean something. Again, we're just looking ahead, but not going to make a bet till free agency. But yeah, Chicago and Houston, interest looking at next year. What about Arizona? What do you think about the Cardinals? Weird season for them.
Can Kyler Murray stay healthy?
Yeah, that's always the question. Is he even like? I like their coach. I like that. Like I bet on them quite a few times. Some success.
I guess the better question is: Kyler Murray interested?
Yeah, I don't know. He felt different this year. They had a tough schedule, I thought. They went over their win total, I believe. Yeah, because I think they went over like week 8 or not week 8, but like pretty early. I think the win total was like 7.5, and they had 8 wins pretty quickly. They were in first place for a bit there in the West. I don't know, 65-1 to win. Obviously, I if I bet like a Colts or something, or Cardinals, if they made like the top 4, I'd hedge significantly. But so any thoughts overall, Keith, on next year?
It's still way too early.
Yeah, it's way too early, but we're having some fun here.
Like the season ended 12 days ago.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up the show. One more team I want to talk about. We brought them up earlier. The Las Vegas Raiders. I want to see what they do in the offseason. But I said this I think I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago. This team and Dallas, though, like they have high end talent. You know what I mean? They have good players who can you can cover up some of the bullshit going on in the background, like CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Some of the defensive players are very, very. Micah Parsons very, very good, right? You can cover up some of the nonsense. But Vegas doesn't have. They have Crosby, right, and like a couple wide receivers. Or just Bowers and Myers. Like I feel like they're going to be the worst team in the league next year. Right now, I mean, you'd have to be worse than the Giants, which is hard to do. You'd have to be worse than the Jets, the Browns, the Titans. But I mean, the Titans are going to get the first overall pick, right?
Would your opinion change if Aaron Rodgers goes there?
To Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah, probably because they're not going to be any good. I'll just bet against them. But like they're going to win those garbage games when they're like 4-8 or whatever. You know what I mean? Or 1-10. Like they're going to try. I don't want them to try. You know what I mean? I want them to tank. Pierce is gone. Pete Carroll's in. I think that's a disaster waiting to happen.
That division's a retirement home.
God, it's like the more I look at Vegas, and we'll see what happens free agency. And Pete Carroll can coach up some of these corners, but their defense wasn't like the defense has never been off. Like it has been bad for Vegas. It just hasn't been good. And the offense, you don't have a quarterback, and you're not picking, high end. And I think there's only like 2-3 good quarterbacks in the draft this year. It's not like a high. And the Titans are taking one. The Browns are probably going to take one. The Patriots won't take one. They'll probably take the Hunter kid, right?
Yeah.
So unless Tennessee takes him, but I mean, God, Tennessee needs a quarterback so bad. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Especially if they're starting like a rookie who's like the third choice in the draft. Like, I kind of feel like Vegas under whatever their win total is, 4.5. Vegas, worst team of the league. Hopefully the Giants can beat Dallas once, and maybe they beat, they catch a team in a widowmaker spot like they did Seattle. Let's look at the schedule for that kind of stuff. But yeah, some teams that have pegged to be god awful are Vegas. Obviously, the Giants. I don't give a shit what they do in the offseason. The whole team is a joke. I care somewhat, but the Vegas is the team that I look at this board and I'm like, how do they do anything?
I just know I'm not going to be drafting any Giants next year. Even Breece Hall.
What about neighbors?
Yeah, still no.
All right. Oh, and that's one more thing I want to bring before we close it down. Fantasy football. Who do you think the first overall pick is next year?
Sure as hell ain't going to be CMC. Probably Saquon or probably King Henry.
Oh, really?
1A or 1B.
What about Chase? Oh, we're losing Keith.
PPR or no?
Sorry? You cut out.
PPR,
PPR half PPR, half PPR.
Oh, you're talking about our league.
Well, most people play half PPR. I mean, full PPR, it's probably Chase.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just gave you your top three right there, right? So.
Yeah, Chase, Barkley, and Henry. Yeah. I don't know. Henry's. I mean, his routine is insane, though, so I'm not going to doubt this man.
I mean, Todd Gurley is a year younger than Derrick Henry, and Todd Gurley is eligible for the NFL Hall of Fame this year.
Remember when he was a first overall pick, and I was sure, like, oh yeah, this guy, he's young, he's whatever, doesn't matter. But Derrick Henry, though, he takes good care of himself. He's a beast. I have no doubt. I mean, yeah, he gets worn down, but they're gonna have Keaton Mitchell back too, so it might take away some carries. Yeah, it's probably. Well, I mean, I guess it depends where Hill goes because I don't expect him to be in Miami. I don't really want him in Miami. I think we kind of need a fresh start. Maybe we should. It might be time to just blow it up.
I don't like Hill as a first round pick though.
Yeah, is Brock Bowers a first round pick?
Late.
Yeah, you think he's like 12, 11, 12? Because he's a tight end. And he's like, I mean, you want to talk about target share. Especially when you have a bad quarterback, you're going to throw the tight end a lot. Or not bad, but, like a young quarterback or a mediocre, quarterback.
Yeah, he's probably late first, early second.
Hey, who's the first quarterback chosen?
You got to go with Burrow.
Burrow over Lamar and Hurts and Allen.
You'd probably go Lamar, then Hurts,
and then Burrow.
Yes.
Oh, so Burrow third. Okay. I don't know. I could see picking Burrow first. I mean, the injury upside is high for him too, though. So Josh Allen, I mean, he just doesn't get hurt. I'm not going to knock on wood because if he gets hurt, the Dolphins might win.
I mean, he gets hurt. He just plays through it.
Any thoughts on your team, the Patriots? You think they're going to make step forward? I mean, I know we're probably not getting T. Higgins, which I think is. I was excited to watch him in a Patriots uniform. I thought that would have been fun.
I'm upset.
Yeah, fucking Paul Brown and those cheapskates in fucking Ohio ruined. I don't mind. I know it's a division rivalry, but I mean, I don't expect the Dolphins to do anything at all next season.
Who would you say has a brighter future, the Dolphins or?
Oh, New England. New England for sure. Your quarterback can't stay healthy. The locker rooms. Now the thing is, though, if you get getting rid of Hill. Right, he's tradable. You're going to get something for him. He's worth something. So I think you should trade him now. Keep Jonnu Smith. Keep Waddle. Pay Smith. I mean, it's a tight end. You don't have to pay very much. You know what I mean? They already paid $2, I think.
He's got what, a top 5 contract?
Yeah, he's got a big contract. Um, you know, Tua's fine. You know what I mean? He's a top 12 quarterback when he plays. But I don't know if you get anywhere. The defense is like the team is good. They're going to win 7 games, right? No matter what, unless Tua gets hurt like week 1.
Which is always the possibility.
Yeah, which is a possibility. I mean, like even like Tua got hurt this year, and we still won what, like 8-9 games. Like I mean, he'll I think just trade him, get what you can. Fix. They need linemen. They need offensive linemen. They have like 5,000 running backs. It doesn't. They gotta stop. I swear to God, if they draft another fucking running back this offseason, I know they like fast players. They cut Mostert, which I mean, yeah, you have 5,000 running backs. You know, it's unnecessary. Ramsey, I don't know. I mean, if you can hold it, I don't know how much he's worth, but you could like a corner you could trade at the deadline, right? So I would probably just hold on to him because playing cornerback, if you're trading for Ramsey, what's he going to do? He's going to play against their number 1 receiver. You know, he's on an island most of the time, anyways.
Yeah.
So like you could trade for a cornerback, and he doesn't have to learn too many difficult schemes, right? Like you could trade for him mid-season if we stink. But the division's bad, so like I mean, outside of Buffalo, we own the Jets. We don't own the Jets. They beat us. I know they beat us week 18 or whatever. I mean, we've pretty much dominated the Jets. We've dominated the Patriots since Brady left. Even when Brady was there, Brady struggled. It's just the Bills we can't beat. So it's like the Patriots. Okay, without T. Higgins now, they're probably going to be. They can find somebody else. But I mean, that was like their big. Like that would have made, in my opinion, that would have made a big difference. If you get like a bona fide. I know people could argue because he plays behind Chase, but he's a bona fide number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
T. Higgins is a bona fide. That would have been a guy who takes coverage.
It was what, week 17? They had that overtime game. Like that game proved it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Surtain was on Chase, obviously, but I mean, he cooks these other guys. Like, I mean, he cooks these twos. You have to have a really good guy on him. And he's a great in the end zone. He makes great plays. So I mean, it's good. And you have Hunter Henry. I don't know. Is he up for? Or is he signed? I think he's signed.
I think he's signed.
Yeah. So I mean, they need a receiver badly because they're the worst receivers in the league. But now, I mean, the Dolphins are looking at second place basically by showing up. Because the Jets are a mess. They signed Aaron Glenn. Okay, he was fine in Detroit, but I mean, you had like the best offense in the league. Maybe Philly was a little bit better, or Baltimore. But I mean, top 3 offense in the league. You didn't have to do much, and you still couldn't get it done. You allowed how many points to the Commanders? So I don't know if I trust him. I think the Jets are going to jet. The Patriots, they need a lot of help. So you're looking at second place for the Dolphins, right? By default. It's can we beat Buffalo? We've come close. We've come close with worse teams.
I don't think that would happen either. I think Buffalo's the clear-cut favorite for at least the next 2-3 seasons in that.
Yeah, I mean they are. I mean they have Josh Allen. Josh Allen owns Miami's soul. We only need to win 1 game though against Buffalo. That's the thing. You just got to split, and you have a chance because you're gonna have the second place schedule. We gotta win the stupid games that we lose. Like we lost to the fucking Titans. Yes. No more Snoop Hundley. No more. Just get 2 quarterbacks. Just pull a CFL and have 2 quarterbacks. So pay 2 guys because I mean you don't have an offensive line anyways. Like either get a sturdy offensive line, tell Tua to stop hitting his head against them all. And
is Tua's brother still on the Ticats?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
I'd say get him.
Yeah, I mean they can sign Bo too, but I can guarantee even in the NFL, Bo's better than Hundley's, Thompson, and these other clowns. Yeah, Huntley's not a clown. I'll give Huntley that. But Skylar Thompson's a clown. Mike White's a clown. Um, who else started for us last year? Oh, Tim Boyle. That guy's the biggest clown. Fuck. Who keeps signing Tim Boyle? Like when I see Tim Boyle is starting, that means bet the other team. The number doesn't matter. This guy is. I mean, he looked a little better as the season went along, but he's awful.
So I guess Tim Boyle's not going to be joining the podcast next year.
If Tim Boyle wants to join the podcast, he can join the podcast. I don't mind. I can talk shit about him. He has to understand that. But all right. Is there anything else I want to mention? Oh yeah. We talked about. Did the Steelers win nine games again?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. They're just like
Mike Tomlin somehow finds a way.
Yeah. Constant mediocrity. Here's a team we didn't talk about. What are the Falcons? What do you think about them? They fired Morris, right? Or did they not?
Are they moving on from Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. It's gonna be Penix. Oh, he is. Okay. He's the current head coach. Yeah, fuck him. All right, they have Raheem Morris. I'm probably gonna bet their win total under. I think he's garbage. The team is fine, but and they play in a bad division. I don't understand. Raheem Morris was awful last season. He's awful. Do you trust Raheem Morris?
No.
Exactly. I mean, I know the Saints had Dennis Allen, who might have been the lamest Duck head coach I've ever seen in my life, but you don't have to try to one up them. God, the NFC South is a disaster. It's probably just Tampa's division again. But, I mean, the Panthers. I like the Panthers. I think they're. Here's an interesting team we didn't talk about. What about Denver? What do you think about Denver?
They can improve.
Yeah, 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna bet that. Yeah, I don't know. Their defense kind of fell apart at the end. I mean, Buffalo torched them on the ground in the playoff game, and they stopped throwing the ball, which I thought was bad. I don't know about Peyton. I like that he threw Nick's feet into the fire, but then in the playoffs, you don't throw the ball when you're losing after the first big throw went for a touchdown. You know, that's sus.
Yeah.
They could improve, though. I mean, I trust them more than I trust Mid Herbert. What do you think about? What do you think about the West? But obviously, the Raiders aren't doing anything. But do you think anyone challenges the Chiefs?
No.
The Chiefs kind of looked really bad, though. I mean, it's a Super Bowl hangover year.
Well, I mean, how many extra games of football have the Chiefs played over the last 5-6 years?
Well, they always have to buy, so
It doesn't matter. If you extend your season, you're extending everything else. You have the mental fortitude. You have to do it mentally, physically. You're away from your family more.
I think I had to look at the schedule. We'll see what they schedule the Chiefs, but I mean, that loss to Philly kind of smells like the dynasty's over. Nick Foles did it.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, it's all. It was bad. But we need somebody to beat them, and it might be someone in their own division. I don't know if I can I don't like the Chargers. Maybe I'm just betting Broncos, NFC or AFC West, because I mean the Vegas is a throwaway. The Chargers, if they get some wide receivers, maybe. But I mean,
Vegas is just there for the trophy, the participation trophy.
The participation trophy. I got a couple of them for them here. They can have one of those. I mean, it makes for cheap football in Las Vegas if you ever want to go to Vegas. get to see another team destroy the Raiders. I get to see Brock Bowers.
Are there casinos in the or are there at least slots in the stadium there?
I think the stadium's like 10 minutes from the Strip. You probably don't need. Just stay away from. I've heard Resort World is awful, so stay away from there.
Wait. You go there on the weekend. Saturday night, you go to the UFC Apex. Then you
if we're allowed in the country. Okay, so you go to the Apex Saturday, then you go to the Allegiant Stadium Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, why not?
Although usually, because the Golden Knights would start at the same time, wouldn't they, as the UFC Apex?
Yeah, probably. Maybe go to Golden Knights on Friday. Friday night against the Kings before you go lose all your money on blackjack. I gotta get to Vegas one day. Maybe when the Raiders are good, I'll go to Vegas. So never. Who knows? Maybe they draft a good quarterback. They're not a quarterback away though. They're like a lot of pieces, which is why I think and Pete Carroll isn't the answer. Maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, high on the Bears. High on who else was I high on? Oh, Houston. I like Houston. They're one of the toughest schedules in the league, and I know they kind of stunk down the stretch, but Bobby Slowick's gone. Miami signed Bobby Slowick. That's another reason not to like the Dolphins. That guy's I don't know if he's a bum, but he's not very good. All right, Keith. It's been a great year. Yeah, it was up and down the betting. The best bets were very good for the first, I think we were 9-5. Super Bowl. One of the Super Bowl best bets hit. So we're kind of going 50-50 after that.
The kicker's bet hit.
The kicking bet hit, yeah. It was okay. It was a decent season. It was a weird season. The public won a lot. I tend to side with the Sharps a little more, so I didn't have the best season. But, I didn't lose my shirt or anything. It was a small loss. Kept my unit size reasonable. We'll be back next season. Preview show sometime at maybe one or two preview shows in August. We'll see what we can get on. Of course, Rants, Rum, and Rouges will be beginning likely in May. When is the season? Yeah, it'll be sometime in May. Rants, Rum, and Rouges Wednesdays on the Rants, Rum, and Rouges YouTube channel. With CFL Stats Geek, he runs that show. And we'll be breaking down the CFL. I love the CFL. I had a rough season in the CFL for the most part, but the playoffs were good to me. The Grey Cup was good to me. The last bit of the season was good to me. The last 5 weeks, I started to see it better because the beginning of the season was weird. Calgary was winning, and they were no good. Anyways. Thank you, Cowboy Keith. Thanks to everybody who came on. Jeremy this season. Jeremy, CFL Stats Geek, Johnny the Prop Man, Rain. And we'll see you all next season for Pie Guys Pick'em Season 2. Keep an eye on my Instagram, of course, is PieGuy9871. Keep an eye on that around August. I don't think I'm going to do a draft show, but we'll do a season preview show for sure in August, as well as at Salty Mangs on Twitter. And of course, once again, go Canada. And we're not going to be the 51st state. We're gonna, we kicked your ass in hockey with a 15th of the population. Come on. All right, Keith, any last words before I sign off here?
I'll see you in 20 minutes when I pick up these scrub cards.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. All right, I got to go do that. All right. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a great off season. Enjoy baseball. Enjoy the NHL playoffs. And we'll be back here. I'll be back, Rants Rum Rouges, at the end of May. We'll be back here at the end of August for another season of Pie Guys Pick'em.